Hey everybody, it's Aholibamah here today. And today we're going to start work on our iron farm. And I've decided to set this up as a few different episodes to get this iron farm done. Because I don't want to just leave it looking like a lame old iron farm. And also, it takes quite a bit of work to get villagers and such into it. So what we're going to do is set up the technical aspects of it today. And we'll go through and discuss that. And then we'll work on getting our villagers into it. And that will probably include some adventure aspects. Because we will have to go probably jump down a mine shaft and collect a whole lot of rail. So that we can relocate them. Because there's a town not too far away. But it's going to take some work to get the villagers from there to here. Then once we're done with that, we want to make it look really nice and fit the build theme of our area, which is the Mushroom Kingdom. So we're going to make it look like a giant mushroom, not just an iron farm, but we're going to have it be applicable. So I will bring you back so that we can get started in a minute. So here we are back again, and we're ready to begin our build. Minus one thing, which I can find right over here, fortunately. So here under our tree farm, we should have, yes, we do have some. We're going to set up the floor using these. So that'll be enough floor for us for now. Okay, so this is our iron farm location. So we'll put one of those. That is the middle of it. And this floor right here is going to be hoppers coming out to probably a chest right over here. We don't yet have those hoppers because we don't have the iron farm ready. So we want to surround this like so that we have a place to build and leave space for the hoppers and the chest. Okay, that looks good. So next, we're going to build this out of glass so that we can see what's going on inside. Okay, so one other thing. We're going to leave a space there. And this is going to be for a little bit of irony. Ha! Oh, a double pun there that I didn't even intend. Gotta love it when that happens. Okay. Now I will explain how this is going to work. We have here some tripwire hooks that we're going to set up right like that. And this is a new idea I'm testing out to try to not use lava. So what I'm going to have that do is the tripwire hooks will hopefully be able to trigger some pistons that we're going to put behind these two iron blocks. And we'll crush the golems with iron. So that will be some interesting work for me to do in a little bit. For now, what I'm going to do is hook up this tower portion, and then I will bring you back. And welcome back again. We're having lovely weather as we usually do here on the Mushroom Peninsula in the Mushroom Kingdom. I have done some changes here, as you may have noticed. I have adjusted the placement of the blocks and added the pistons, and it seems to work. I put in the glass and then I put on some vines so that I can get to the top, because you can't put ladders on this. And other than that, let's go ahead and take a look. So if you come in here, you can see that it works. If you stand here, anything that comes into contact with this string causes that to squish in. And that squishing in squishes the golem's head, which will kill it. So that'll be fun. They will automatically get choked to death. And also I put in this hopper so that the golems will be high enough to actually be choking, because they don't fit in this kind of gap right here. So they can't undo the choking. But I will still have to come in and collect the iron until I have enough to do all these hoppers, which I probably have in a chest out there, but I haven't bothered with that because other priorities here. So I put in the glass to get it up high enough, and then I did a little bit of testing, and it seems, if we come out here, that I'm barely high enough to not interfere with this. So, vines don't allow me to get back on top, so we'll go over this way. No, come on, vines, work with me here. Okay, had to go all the way around. Okay, then this will be a floor where I can walk around and look at things. This will not be the floor where golems spawn. So for that, we're going to put in some more glass right in here so that we can see how things are going with it. And it works best if I do this. Good thing I brought another stack. Okay. Then we will create the spawn floor. Now, the key thing with the spawn floor, you have this 3x3 hole in the center. And I do that because on PE, it's very easy to get clogged up if you only use a 2x2 hole. So I use 3x3. And usually I use lava to kill them, and I have a special trick for doing that. But in this case, I'm trying something new. Well, actually, I'm trying a few things new on this one. Now, the next step, we are going to make sure that from this point, we have 8 blocks that will be covered with water. So we have 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we have 1 on which we will build the initial wall. Does that make sense? Okay, so then we're going to do that in all 4 directions and then fill it in, and then I will bring you back at that point and we will do the next step. Hey everybody, welcome back again. So if you take a look around here, you can see that I've done that to each side. And then I went ahead and I filled in this side. And that is what we want to do next. So this is just a progress report. I've finished filling in this corner. Now I need to do that to the other 3 corners, and then we will be able to move forward. Hey everybody, so we're back again. And this time I have completed that. And then I went ahead and in the corners, I left a space here to put light, just because that's a good habit to be in when you make these, not because I necessarily need it here in the mushroom biome. But then I put 3 blocks in the corner, and I will likely be taking these 3 blocks out later, although that is not absolutely necessary. You can leave those in if you do everything else correctly. So what that is when you put in the water, that will wash 8 blocks. See, everything from this wall will be pushing this way, and everything from this wall will be pushing this way, and it creates a diagonal stream here. And the problem is, if we put water where these two corner-ish blocks are, then they can create an infinite water source. So then this block will be a source, which we don't want, because that will cause all the other sources in the entire room to become a source, and then it'll just be stagnant, standing water. And that's what we don't want. I gotta learn not to hold down my button when I'm holding my axe. So that's what we don't want. So what we've got here is we'll put water on this piece right here, and then it'll flow off both of those other sides. And then we will put water source blocks in all of these to wash toward the middle. And then again on this one corner piece, so that it doesn't create a infinite water sources. So then our next step is to go around and too high on everything. Make everything too high, like so. So I will do this wall. And you do not want to raise up these ones right here, because that's where water is going to go. And of course, again, it starts raining. And what I've also done over here, and this is absolutely not necessary or part of the tutorial, is I've put a window for myself, so that when I'm standing in the platform I'm going to make right below here, then I can see in and see how everything's doing. My plan is to change something else that I've always done. And what I've always done before is put 4 places with villagers, one on each side, and I'm only going to put them on 2 sides, because if my calculations are right, they can detect all the doors I'm going to need, which is 21. So once you have 21 doors, they make enough to make an iron golem, and if you do everything correctly, that iron golem gets out of range fast enough that it won't affect the spawning of more iron golems. So that's the entire goal, is to get the golems out of here fast enough for them to spawn more. You see, if you have more doors, then they can have more golems at the same time, but that doesn't mean that they spawn more golems at the same time. It just means that they can have them. So it won't stop them if they've already got some in the farm. But if we do everything right, then they won't be in the farm anymore, and we won't have to worry about that in the first place. So after I get this done, I will bring you back. I need to go collect some more resources after I finish this anyway. Hey everybody, so welcome back again. And what I've got is I've started construction of the first set of doors. What we've got here is we put 6 doors, and then 7 more of our building blocks, and then 6 more doors. And I don't know if I covered this before, but you absolutely do not need to make this out of mushroom blocks. This is just an experiment that I'm trying to do here, just to see what I can arrange here in the Mushroom Kingdom. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it doesn't matter which way these doors are facing, but I just prefer them this way. Then we use our building blocks, of which I have several thanks to Silk Touch. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hope I counted that right. 1 door. Oh, gravity. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 doors. Okay, so now, again, if we're going to be honest, all that you need is 21 doors. And what I've got here right now is 24. But I thought, you know what? Just for a little bit of overkill, I want to add a few more. So I went ahead and constructed 30 doors total. And I'm just going to stick a couple at each end here. So we'll have 28. I don't think that will actually help us at all, but just to be consistent with how I built it in the past, I'm going to put one extra at each corner. So there it is. And last one here. Okay, so then what I'm going to do, and again, we're working on an experiment here because I've always built 4 cells before. So I'm just going to fill in this other side all the way. Going to go 2 higher here so that it's even with the top of the doors. And then I'm going to take the other sides around to be the same. So everywhere that is not a door is 2 blocks high. So continue adding here and here, including my viewing wall. Good, I do have more glass. So we'll make the viewing wall 1 block higher now. It will end up being something else here shortly. That we're working on. Okay, so that is every side except this one. So we'll come over here. We'll add these 7 blocks. Okay, now that's fairly simple. The next step is a little more difficult because you don't want to be opening your doors. But what you want to do is on the top section of the door, we're going to build the next platform. So right here. So the golems spawn in a 16 by 16 area. Whoa! Did I just open the door and knock myself off? And they need a 3 high gap in order to spawn. Now, my tutorial here comes from, I used Nim's Toot, and it didn't work. No offense to him. It was a great tutorial, and I couldn't be here without him. What I had happen, and maybe this is something that changed after he built it, but what happened was the golems would spawn inside it and work, and they would also spawn outside of it because it did not have enough floor space because they spawn in the 16 by 16 area. So I made it 16 by 16, and I was still having issues with the 2 by 2 hole in the middle. So that's how I came about the 3 by 3 hole in the middle, and that has worked perfectly. I have very few clog ups with that, and it works great. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill this in so that it looks exactly like the floor I'm standing on with the 3 by 3 hole in the middle, and then we will come back. Hey everybody, so I finished building this top layer, and it's just right above the other one, directly above it. So everything will fall down the same chute. Everything will line up exactly the same with the water. And we're going to do exactly the same thing with the water. This level will not need to have more doors placed. So we're basically just going to stack the walls 2 high. Then we're going to place these right above these doors here, just to keep the water in. I like to add a little bit of light on the corner, just for good measure. And then what we got here is we got to set up the water the exact same way. So here at the corner, we're going to do that same thing. But in rethinking, it is possible that a golem could spawn there. So we might be reducing the amount of golems that can spawn if we leave those blocks there. Oh, and that's not even the right place. So we're going to want to take them out when we're done with them, after we've placed the water. So there's that information. So again, just right along above all these, we want it too high. So looking like this. And then that right there, I'll go ahead and show you next, because doing a too high wall all around is not exciting, and I'm sure everybody can handle doing that. These mushroom blocks are very difficult, so I don't recommend using them. So what we got here is it's 7 wide and it's dead in the center, and we're going to build it out, and it's right between all those doors. So we've got 6 doors on that side and 6 doors on that side, and then one around each corner there. And what we want here, and there is a specific reason for this, is we want it to come out from the building by 5 spaces. So one more here. Okay, and it needs to be 4 by 4 spaces, but I've done mine 5 by 4, which doesn't hurt it. I've done the math, and they should be able to still see all the doors. Now the reason, much like the other part, that we're going to do it this way instead of any smaller is we don't want the water that we'll be placing in here to create infinite sources. So what we'll do is, and actually I like to leave these corners open on the outside here, because when these fill up, I can use these as my source for villagers for other places that I might want villagers. So what we've got here is we will put a water bucket in each corner, and that will wash them toward the middle, because there's a large issue with PE that when the chunk reloads, quite often, if there is somebody standing right here, it's hard for me to even stand there. If there's somebody standing right here, he will be inside this block here. So he'll either die or he'll glitch out this direction and fall in that water down there. And to avoid that, what we're going to do is put water in each corner here. And as long as it doesn't create an infinite source, then all 4 of those will flow toward the center, and it'll keep all the villagers kind of huddled here in the middle. If it does start to get too full, then I can send a rail cart, and if we have a rail here and a cart comes up and anybody happens to be pushed into this corner, which I've experienced on my other world even with the water there, then that cart will pick him up through the corner. So that's kind of super handy. So what I'm going to do also here to ensure that we don't get any spawning, because this is actually over the ocean biome somewhat. I've actually had spawns on that lower platform right over there. That's why I started putting the glowstone in. But anyway, I'm going to make sure that I don't have that issue here by making sure that we get glowstone. And I'm not going to put the glowstone on the bottom. What have I done? Oh, that's the top layer. Yeah, that was silly. Okay, so I'm not going to put glowstone on the bottom, because the water going over it sometimes doesn't count it as transparent, so it doesn't go through the water, so it doesn't change the light level. So here we go. We got glowstone here, we got glowstone there. That'll keep this nice and lit up for our villagers that we're going to place in here. So I'll cut out that corner, and then I'll make it high enough that they can't get out. And I do seem to be rambling, don't I? So then we've got our villager holding cell. Once we get that water in, and I can start that, then it'll wash them toward the middle once we get each of the corners. And then we can come back and do the other water up here. So I'm going to go ahead and finish doing this on that opposite side, straight across. Normally I'd do it on that side and that side too, but I'm, again, testing a new theory here that I have, that this is going to be plenty. And that would make it much more convenient to make this farm, rather than having to stock 2 in each of 4 sides. You can just do 2 in each of 2 sides. And then they breed up and fill the rest. So I will keep building this and I'll bring you back later. So I've completed all that, and now I have begun placing water. I still haven't set up the other 2 corners, but I'm going to see if I can manage without doing that. So I will start that now. Okay, so you can see that the line goes straight pretty much until the edge of this block, and it starts to angle down, and then that block, you put one there. So then you gather from there and skip one that doesn't have a source and put one there. And then take it from over here, skip one and put it there. And that's all it takes. And I'm only using 1 bucket. I just had to make 2 trips so that I could get my second bucket full. Fortunately, I have more water in that ocean right below me, so that makes it pretty easy. Okay, so now I've got one whole side done other than the corners. You can see it washes straight up to the edge and then it stops. So that's pretty easy. So next we will take one of these, and I'm going to do this just so I don't mess it up. Okay, so we skip 2 blocks and put it there. And we come back over here for some more. Skip a block, put it there. Skip a block, put it there. Careful not to wash down the hole in the middle because I didn't block it off. Oh, I messed up. And you can tell because there's the little divot. If you got a divot, just put some water right in the middle of it and that'll fix it. Don't wash down the hole in the middle. Okay, now we're going to come over here and try that. Again, skipping 2 blocks, placing on the 3rd, so that we don't create an infinite source. Then we start creating infinite sources there. Okay, and since we haven't placed this one either, we're going to do the same here. Skip, put one there. That way we know how far to go to. So, gather, place, gather, and place. I will continue this, and I will come back once I've completed that on both floors. Because at that point, we're just ready to put in the water for our villagers and then dump our villagers in, and I think that will wrap us up. Okay, so I've just finished placing the water on the inside, and now I thought I would cover the one thing that I skipped before, and that is placing the water in these corners. There are 2 different ways to do this. You can place the water and then break them, or you can break them and then place the water. I am going to choose to break them and then place the water. So I will start by break, and then the water goes on 1 level higher. It goes right here. And that will cause you to be pushed out. So then I will swim. Thank you, Depth Strider, or this would be a miserable task. And I will break, careful not to break through, and grab some water from far out there, and it goes at head level, right below those doors right there. Okay, grab some water on my way over, careful not to fall into that. Oh look, it's raining. Surprise! That happens a lot here. I need to make a charged creeper farm. Break, break, break. What I'm going to do next, instead of doing the last one, I'm going to show you the top floor where I discovered the difference between the two different ways. So we'll come out here on my little magic platform, climb up the glass, and this is what it looks like if you break the platform after placing the water. And that's what it looks like if you break the platform and then place the water, or you just don't use a platform in the first place. So you see that that one has less water spread than that one. Not that it makes a difference. It's purely aesthetic. Well, not purely, but it doesn't really make a difference in how the farm works. Because regardless, they will be washed down and they will be crushed to death at the bottom. So, it doesn't make a difference on how much.